Adam Goldfein. Thank you so much for joining me. We are live at the third annual Car Clinic, brought to you by Associated Credit Union. Thank you so much for doing a very special broadcast today until 5 o'clock, answering questions about people who want to go out into the market and want to buy cars. The audience that you're hearing is live here down at News Talk WSB. We're doing the broadcast live from them. Their questions are going to be driving the show tonight, but if you want to try to get in on the program, phone lines are open at 404-872-0750. That's 404-872-0750. You can always find me on Twitter at Adam Goldfein and online at adamgoldfein.com. So people want to know how to go out to the car dealership and not get ripped off. I put it as, how do you get the 10 secrets to car buying? The folks here have a list. I've given them my notes. What you don't know at home is they have all my notes, and there are about 70 secrets, plus whatever they ask me. I figure we can get them up to 100. But there are going to be some things that I'll only share with them during the commercial breaks. Unfortunately, that's one of the perks of coming to the event put on by Associated Credit Union. Here at Associated Credit Union, by the way, Bill Baum is with us, as well as Scott O'Connor. I want to welcome them to the program.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And thank these guys for doing it. And we're going to be giving away raffle prizes. You'll hear us doing that, as well as all the folks that showed up today are going to be getting complimentary GAP insurance. And let's not forget, later we're going to be doing the raffle drawing. I'm going to go car shopping with one of you. And that's kind of cool, right? Yeah. Which means it isn't just me doing it on the phone. It's me actually helping you and going all the way through. We did it last year. And we had a woman who ended up buying a Honda Accord at Ed Boyle's Honda. It was a great deal. And the cool thing was, we sent her out first. I was like, okay, you're good, you're done, that's your best deal? Okay, give me the deal. And then we went, just so I could show her, I just wanted to show her the value, right, of what I could do. So I wasn't just sitting there nodding along that you got a good deal. I wanted to show her I was actually worth something, all right? So here's the first thing I want everybody to think about before we jump after your questions. Biggest mistakes people make before they go car shopping is not having certain questions answered in their heads. Budget. How much can you afford? You know, what your credit situation is. Do you have any special needs that we have to address? Bankruptcy or a short sale. Did something happen in your life that, as a reality, that we have to look at before you go to the dealership? The key is being armed with the information before you go out there, right? So your credit and your budget, and then two other key questions. What are we doing with what you're driving? So most people have a car. Are we donating it? Are we giving it away? Are we selling it privately? Are we trading it? I don't know what we're doing. We have to make that decision. And then we've got to decide, what do you want? What kind of car? What fits your needs? Here's one quick tip. Whatever you're looking to buy, you have to at least think it will last you the time you want to own it. Okay, why do I say that? I'll give you a common scenario. Somebody wants to buy a used car and they find one online, it's got 150,000 miles, and go, it's pretty cheap, but they want to keep the car for 5 years. Well, if you put 15,000 miles on a car a year, that car will have 220, 230,000 miles. You know, it's like going to the pound and buying a 16-year-old dog. It's not going to make it, okay? And so what we got to do is say, all right, how long are you going to do it? I know, that was me. We pulled the dog joke out early, but it worked. But you understand my point, right? So how long do you want it, and how long we have to think about the amount of time and how much money, balancing out all the maintenance costs, etc. Okay? All right, so here's what we're going to do. The questions that you're hearing are actually folks that listen to News Talk WSB that are live here at the Car Buying Clinic. Doug Turnbull, who do we have first?
And we've got someone here who wants to ask about what to do at the negotiating table.
My question is, what percent below the listed price should you consider to be a fair deal for you buying, and what percent below that should you start the negotiation process at?
What a great question. Let me tell you first, we're talking about how much room is in the car, how much markup is there, how much can we expect to get off. Let me first start by telling you, don't take the advice of Consumer Reports. And I mean this sincerely, okay? This is not one of my dog jokes. This is the real deal. Consumer Reports at the back of their magazine tells you to negotiate up from invoice. It's a mistake. If you're ever buying a new car, you need to know there are times you can actually buy the car below invoice. So I would never want to start with the floor and negotiate up. I want to negotiate down. Okay, that's the first thing. How do I know how much I can get? On a new car, you can look at the window sticker and assume there's 10% worth of room. A $20,000 car has $2,000 worth of negotiating room. A $30,000 car has $3,000 worth of negotiating room. A $50,000 car, $5,000, okay? I know a lot of people think there's half. You know, a $20,000 car is $10,000. It doesn't. It doesn't. That's a big mistake. It doesn't. You only have about 10% to work with. Now, if the car's in high demand, they may not negotiate $1 off. If you're in a luxury situation where there's a high demand luxury car, they're going to be selling it very close to the asking price, that list price on the window sticker. I just want you to know in your head, but they're not killing you. The difference is there. The key, and here's where you save your money. It's not just knowing I've got 10% to work with. You want to know two other things, okay? The two things you want to know are what rebates are out there. Rebates are discounts from the manufacturer. See, the discount from the dealer is the 10%. I have to go to the manufacturer's website to see what coupons are available. I wouldn't go to Publix or Kroger without my coupons, and I wouldn't go to the dealership without my coupons. So you go online and see what special offers. Manufacturers hide it on their website under the tag that says special offers. Okay? I don't know why they don't put it forward, but they hide it in the back. You want to know your rebates. There are some hidden rebates. Military gets extra money. College grad gets extra money. What's a college grad? College grad is someone who's going to graduate in 6 months or has in the past 2 years. 2 years. It's not an age thing. If you go back to school to get your nursing degree or an MBA, you're a college grad. They give you extra money for that. There are some loyalty programs that give you extra money. And then the last part where you save big money is this is also in timing your deal, is doing it at the end of the month. And the reason you do is that the manufacturer gives the dealer incentives. And if they hit certain targets, they make a lot of money. So if they're one away from the goal, I want to be that car. Used cars, there's typically about a 10% markup, what you'll see, but you can confirm it by looking at the value of the car online. So let's say you go to AutoTrader and you look up the value of a car. I can see what other cars are being sold, and then I can take that car and go to Kelley Blue Book and see how is the asking price compared to the actual value of the car. The key with used is paying market value. You want to pay somewhere between trade-in and retail if you're buying a car. That's where your price line is, okay, as far as negotiating room. Again, you'll see it's roughly 10%, okay? One more question?
And one more from Caroline, who wants to know something about once you buy the car.
Hi, Adam. So once you buy that car, do you get it serviced at the dealer or do you get it serviced at a mechanic? And my father happens to have a mechanic who loves to use AutoZone parts. How do you feel about parts that are not manufacturer original?
All right, so she's bringing up a great question. They're called non-OEM parts, non-original equipment manufactured parts. First off, some manufacturers provide maintenance included in the deal. So like BMW, maintenance is included. So you need to ask the dealer if they include maintenance, because that might be a way you can get it done for less. You can even negotiate with your dealer to have maintenance included. Don't think if maintenance is important to you that you can't get that thrown in. Maybe in oil changes, you know, like you have 6 or 10 or 15 oil changes done. Most dealers have really low prices on oil changes to compete, okay? Using original equipment parts is always better. It's always preferred. They're the same parts that were used when your vehicle was manufactured. If you buy less expensive or inferior quality parts, then you know you're taking a risk. You're getting a little bit of a discount on the part, but you're not putting the original stuff back in. It's a little bit of like meat filler in a hamburger. Okay, so you just have to bear in mind what kind of car you have, how old it is, and you know how much money you want to put into the car. Okay, so should you service at the dealer or not? My personal preference is if you're buying a new or newer car, I would always go back to the dealer because you have a warranty, technical service bulletins, and then let's not forget recalls. One quick thing. I don't care what car you're driving, everybody in here and everybody listening to me today. You know how they tell you once a year, change the battery in your smoke detector, but God forbid, have a carbon monoxide detector, God forbid. I will give you another God forbid. Check to see if your vehicle has an outstanding recall on it. If you bought it new or used, it doesn't matter. Okay? And the key is that recalls, the federal government has determined there's a safety concern with your car. It could result in death or injury. All right? The repair is free. Once a year, at a minimum, go online and check it out. Where do you go? safercar.gov is the website. That's put out by NHTSA. Or you can go to the dealership and say, hey, do I have any recalls? And they'll look it up. If you were buying a used car, I would take the VIN number and I would look, does the car have any recalls on it? You know, I'd want to make sure that I wasn't buying something that was going to put my family at risk or put myself at risk, okay? So once a year, just as a personal note, make sure your recalls are done. The manufacturer pays the dealer to do it, and that'd be a reason you'd be back in the dealership anyway, okay? Let's see if we can get one more question before we hit our break. Yes, sir. Where's Doug?
Right here, we got one for
Oh, yeah.
David over here. Great question for someone on a limited budget.
I'm cheap, I have great credit, but very little cash reserves, and have significant debt. I want to be able to, I've got to replace a car that's getting ready to fail. And do I go for something that's a little out of the price range, that's newer, that's not likely to have repair costs, and extend payment past 60 months to 66 or 72? Or do I get something that I can afford, and then what do I do with the repair costs when they inevitably come, because it's a
How much
year-old car?
are you looking to spend? Let's be real and give me a real example. How much can you afford?
I can afford about $250 a month, which puts me at around $15,000.
Okay, so my advice to you would be that we can go for a new car. You got to lower your eyesight. So an entry-level new car, which will have a warranty, great fuel economy, it's safe, and it'll have your lowest output. Tell me, but you need it for a certain reason. Go ahead.
Yeah, I need to be able to have a Class 3 towing hitch.
How did I know there's going to be? Oh, there's always something there. And I need it to be diamond studded around the steering wheel. There's always the hitch, right? And which is why you can't find it. The reality is, if you keep overextending yourself, like I heard your question, you said I have good credit, but I have lots of debt and I don't have a lot of cash. Let's be real world. A car has to fit back into your real world budget. When we talk about budgets and we talk about financing, I have a very basic general rule. If you can't afford it within 60 months, you're in too much car. That's the rule. Now, I like a lot of things. I like steak, I like shiny things. I mean, there are things I like. But if I go and I only have enough for a hamburger, I can't order the filet mignon, even if I really like it. And so what we have to decide is what can fit in your budget. The rule is simple. 60 months, the payment's too high for you, too much car. Okay? So that would be what we're doing. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. I'm Adam Goldfein. You are listening to and experiencing the 3rd annual car buying clinic put on by Associated Credit Union. We are here live at News Talk WSB, on Twitter at Adam Goldfein, and online at adamgoldfein.com.